down.
Hey everybody, it's Patty Dobrovolsky with Up Your Creative Genius. This is episode 8 in the Creative Genius You, the equation that makes you great, in our series. And this week, we're gonna hire our imagination. Now, what's awesome is your imagination is always creating things. It loves to do it. Why? Because it's part of evolution. It wants to get new things going all the time. And so we want to give it something fun to focus on, don't we? Yeah. So this week, your task, should you choose to accept it, is to actually imagine 3 projects completed that you'd like to complete a week from today. Imagine those projects, things you need to get done, and they can be big or they can be mundane. It doesn't matter. Like maybe you want to clean up your desktop, all your files. You want to have them organized. That would be so awesome, wouldn't it? Yes. Or maybe you want to start lifting weights or doing more weight or do something physical that'll keep you more healthy. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Or maybe you'd love for the phone to ring and someone to call you and hire you or give you a big project, the one you've always dreamed about. Ooh, that would be awesome too. Now, this is a really simple process. You just write those 3 things down and then you imagine them. You let your imagination take hold and you put it to work, working on building that vision of these things done. So you'll double click on each one of these. I'd feel so fantastic when my files were all organized. Or look at my biceps, they're so amazing now. I can do over 100 push-ups, I really can. Or that phone call, just the one that you've been waiting for. Or one of my clients said her favorite technique was the one I suggested called Surprise Me, which is if you create a picture of the future, sometimes you can put just surprise me in there and write it down. And I used to put it just on a 3x5 card in my room. Surprise me today. I want to see something that I can't possibly imagine. And she said this was her favorite technique. And she did it at a time when she was feeling really financially strapped. She didn't know what she was going to do. And one of the things that happened was she got real insight into how she could start saving. And she applied this idea of saving to all areas of her life, saving her energy, saving herself from bad relationships. And this saving just infused so much of her life. And so your imagination is always going to use that one seed that you give it, and it's going to plant a flower that will be different from what you imagine, and often it will be much better. So the imagination is part of it, but the other part is that your brain naturally defaults when it's trying to problem solve, meaning when it's trying to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be, or some challenge that you're up against. It will often use the fear response to solve it because it's looking for the fastest, shortest way to get there. Why? Because when you actually complete a story, meaning that you solve the problem, you hit the success button inside. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, the brain doesn't care about that part of the story. It just cares that you completed it. So it can hit this success button, and that success button sends dopamine into all parts of your body. So it's addicted, your brain, to this dopamine rush. So it's not going to care whether you, finish the story by putting in all those pictures that you have used in the past. So if in your brain, in your imagination, you complete this story by the person yelling at you, or you being broke, or you feeling not worth it, it doesn't care. It's just going to hit that button and boom, dopamine. And now you've wired yourself again for the kind of success that you don't want, the kind of experience you do not want. So how do we derail this fear response? Well, our pal Brene Brown wrote in her book, Rising Strong, there's a really simple way to do it. You simply stop the action and you ask yourself, what am I feeling? And where am I feeling it? acknowledging what it is, this fear response or that bad feeling response or whatever it is that you're feeling, automatically shifts it. It will give you the opportunity to open the door into new things. And once you've gotten rid of that fear response, then you can envision that future state without having all that bad programming running at the same time. Now, another way to derail that bad programming is to draw a picture of the future. So even these projects, when you've brainstormed them and you've expanded upon them and you've double-clicked on each one, you're going to get more information. But if you draw a little picture like that, your brain is going to stay focused on it. And then as you take small steps, it's going to hit that dopamine button and you're going to feel fantastic. And your job really, after you derailed this fear response, is to help your imagination focus on the things that you really do want, that you really do long for, and that you can create. And doing that picture of the vision of the future will help you. Now, I did the process, Draw Your Future, and that TED Talk, on a bootleg channel, it went viral. 6 million people have seen it to date. But of the people who were most successful watching that and doing it and running that process, who have sent me their stories, there were 3 important components. One is that they drew the picture, that they weren't afraid to draw. They got over their fear of drawing. They derailed that fear response and they drew it. They drew it into a picture. And 2, they allowed their imagination to expand it for them and show them more about what was possible. And 3, no matter what happened or how they felt or any kind of demotivator that happened that seemed like, oh my gosh, it's not going to happen in this time frame, they kept going. They kept going. This is the secret to achieving success, is no matter what comes your way, no matter what disrupts your life, you keep going. And I know you can do it, and you will achieve these things. Try it. Don't take my word for it, but that's your mission should you choose to accept it. 3 projects in a week, or surprise me. Derail your fear response. Know that it's running the show unless you get in there, and derail it by feeling it and then moving forward. Focus on the things that are happening and be grateful for them, even the little things. Don't worry about the timing. Timing is of its own. You can't control it. It's going to happen. So you want to just do all the back checking to make sure you've covered all the bases, and no matter what happens, keep going. You can do this. Let's do this, shall we? Until next time, up your creative genius.